Hey everybody, it's Brad at Deere Brothers LLC out in Versailles, Ohio. Going to do another walk around video followed by an operational video on this 2004 John Deere 5303 tractor that came in and we're putting up for sale. Like always, I'll walk around, I'll talk about the features and functions. I'll get up close to everything, show you everything that I see, tell you everything that I know, then of course we'll fire it up, we'll run it through its paces. We'll show you the pins up front are nice and tight, show you the 3-point and the PTO, show you the brakes are strong, the hydraulics are strong, let you hear the engine. As always, if you are in the market for a used tractor, a used piece of ag equipment, or a used piece of construction equipment, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Your likes and subscriptions help other people who are looking for equipment find our videos and find our machines, and we truly do appreciate it. All right, like I said, this one is a 2004 John Deere 5303. As you can see, it is OROPS. It's two-wheel drive. It's got the John Deere 510 front loader with the John Deere style quick attach. 9 forward, 3 reverse gear transmission, 1 rear remote, 1 set of rear wheel weights, R1 tires. This one has 1,872 hours. Here in a little bit, we'll show you the pins up here nice and tight when we fire it up. We'll show you the hydraulics are nice and strong. And as I get up close to it here, you'll see the paint's pretty bright. It's just got typical scuffs and scratches here and there. It is a used loader tractor, but as you can see here, that green is fairly bright. Pretty reflective there. You can see some reflections there in the background. Probably be even better on the other side when there's not as much sun. But as you can see here, loader arms are nice and straight. Just typical scuffs and scratches here and there. Little nicks in the decal. Some scuffs here. That's a little scuff right there. Paint chipping in a couple spots around the edges. But again, pretty darn bright. Looking at the front tire on this side, I'm gonna say we're probably 70-75% at least tread depth there, and I'm not seeing much weather checking either. Yeah, I really don't see any weather checking there. Taking a little step back, looking at the front rim on this side, that yellow is a little faded, as you can see there. It's got some chips around the edge and you know, several spots there where it's just got chips in the paint, but no major dents around the edge of the rim or dings in there, just typical scuffs and scratches. Coming back, looking at the rear fender on this side, just a little bit of a dent right here, and then as you can see, some paint chips up here on the fender. But that green paint is fairly bright and reflective. Some scuffs and scratches up on top. Looks like maybe at some point they had something mounted here, maybe a toolbox or something's kind of got a square outline. But otherwise fairly straight, a little bit of a dent here. But again, that paint is nice and bright. Down underneath there, it's kind of hard to see here on this side with that shadow the way it is, but bottom side of that fender, everything looks pretty good underneath there. Looking at the rear tires, I'm gonna say we're at least 65-70% tread depth back here. I think I'm being very fair. I know it's probably a little tough for you guys to see there with that shadow. And if I come up here, you'll see how deep those tread bars are. Really not much weather checking to speak of. There's a little bit starting in here. I don't know if you guys can see it at all. It's real minor. There's a little bit of checking in there, but not much at all. Sidewall looks pretty good as well. And then taking a look at the rear rim, the yellow's a little bit brighter on the rear rims than it was that front. And then, like I said, it's got 1 set of rear wheel weights. And then just typical, there's little paint chips and scuffs and scratches on the rim. Nothing out of the ordinary there, but no major dings on that outer edge. Coming back here, looking at the 3-point arms look good. Drawbar 540 PTO, and then everything else back here you kind of see everything looks pretty good here on this axle. One rear remote. Backside, inside of the fenders here, everything looks pretty good. Same thing over here. Some paint wore off there, just right on that lip there, just scuffs and scratches. A couple little chips here. This fender here, this bottom section, you can see there's a big dent here and kind of bent out a little bit there, and then a lot of the paint scuffed up and scratched there. Same thing along the side. Up on top, just some scuffs, but the paint's nice and bright. And then down here underneath the fender, again, looks pretty good underneath there. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but underneath the fenders on both sides looks pretty good there. I think you can see that pretty darn good there. A little bit of dirt up here in the front. Tread depth on this tire matches up really well to the other side. Definitely life left in these tires. Again, just a little bit of weather checking starting in this one. Actually, on the outer edges here of the cleats, you can see they're kind of getting scuffed up just on this side. The other side, I didn't notice that. But like I said, not much weather checking there and quite a bit of tread depth. Sidewall, same thing, just a little bit of weather checking starting there. And then stepping back and looking at the rear rim on this side, again, that yellow paint's not super bright and it's got some scuffs and scratches and paint chips, as you can see, around the edges, but the edge of the rim doesn't have any major gouges or anything in it. Just your typical scuffs and scratches there and paint chips. Rear wheel weight again. Coming and taking a look at the front tire on this side. It matches up pretty well to the other side, maybe just a slightly lower tread depth than the other side. Not awful, but maybe just a little bit less tread depth than that other side had. Again, I really don't see any weather checking here. Taking a little step back, looking at the front rim on this side, pretty well the same as the other side. Again, that yellow paint's a little faded and it's got some chips and scuffs and scratches around that rim, but the outer edge, I don't see any major dings there. Everything looks pretty good. Taking a look at the loader arms on this side, again, there you can see just how bright and reflective this green paint is. You can see the shop in the background there. Same thing here, nice and straight. There you can see how reflective that is. Again, I don't see anything that looks like it's been cracked or welded or plated on the loader arms anywhere. Back of the bucket looks pretty good. Take a good look here at this bucket. There, as you can see, I mean, the bucket still retains 50% of the green paint. Nice and straight cutting edge. I don't really see any big bows or dents or dings in the bucket. Everything looks pretty good there. Just paint peeling in that back corner and just typical use on a bucket. A little bit of a dent there in that top lip. Nothing out of the ordinary there. That crossbar looks fine. Same thing up here, the grill guard, just typical scuffs around the edges. Both headlights look pretty good. That black mesh grill, everything looks good there. Kind of get up close and show the sides. Both the sides look pretty square. I don't notice any big gouges or anything there. Just typical little paint scuffs and chips up here, but that green paint is still nice and bright. Same thing over here. The decals are maybe a little more faded on this side. You can see that exhaust is bent back just a little bit. It's supposed to be completely straight up vertical and it's bent back just a little bit. Let's see if I can pop the hood here. Kind of hard to do this with one hand. There we go. All right, let's see what we can see under here. Nice and clean there on top. Nice and dry there. See if I can do this with one hand here. There, I got it. Go over here to the side. Take a look here. Everything with that radiator looks good. There you can see just how reflective the side of the paint is on the hood. Taking a look down in here. Again, like I said, nice and dry. Everything looks good. I don't see any oil or diesel running down the side of the block anywhere here. I don't see any antifreeze running down anywhere. Now, I say it with any used machine. I'm sure if you go over it with a fine-tooth comb, there's going to be a seep or two somewhere, but doesn't look too bad here. Back side of that front axle looks good. Same thing on the front. We'll go around to the other side and take a look at the engine from over here. There we go. Again, I don't see anything running down the side of the block. Front axle looks good. Take a look at the operator station. That step, as you can see, nice and square. Just some paint rubbing off there where your boot rubs. Same thing on the platform, just some paint missing down here where your foot would sit. Clutch pedal, everything looks good there. Brake pedals, everything looks good. Throttle pedal there. Diff lock. Your range selector, everything looks pretty good here. Taking a look at that seat. Bottom cushion looks good. I don't see any cuts or tears there. A little bit of a scuff there, but nothing out of the ordinary. A little dirt there. Same with that backrest. I don't see any cuts or tears there. Like I said, insides of the fenders look about the same as the others. You can see there's some scuffs and scratches. It is a 21-year-old loader tractor. Loader controls. Dash, everything looks good down here. That glass is nice and clear. As you can see there, 1873 on the hours. Up here, this cowl that's fairly bright. Your gear selector, 1, 2, 3, park and reverse. 3-point controls back here. Alright, like I said, this one is a 2004 John Deere 5303, 1,872 hours. Lots of photos on our website. That's listed down below in the description. If you have any questions, comment down below. We'll try to answer them. We'll get that hood shut. We'll fire it up and get right into an operational video.